that he said the case was going to be dismissed, and the fact that he was acting as a United States District Judge when he was only a magistrate, and he didn't have my consent in writing pursuant to Title 28, the U.S. Code, Section 36. Everything he did was wrong. Those are appealable orders. And then this order that I'm refuting right now, that was issued November the 2nd, and that I am spending 145 pages to refute. That's an appealable order. So they're all being appealed. And Glendora is not paying this court the filing fee to appeal. She can wait and pay it to the Second Circuit, or she can apply informa pauperis. And you have ripped her off for $350 already, and she will have to find another court to wrench it from your clutches. Now we go to Psi, and Psi is the devil's trident. Now, notice is to admit. This is the whole thing, folks. Let's go over this carefully. With respect to plaintiffs' questions directed to Magistrate Judge Treese and Clerk of the Court and the undersigned, the requests are wholly improper. Whoopee! They didn't deny them. Therefore, they admitted them. None of the aforesaid parties are defendants to this lawsuit and are therefore not subject to discovery. They were notified that if you don't deny, then you admit. That's the law of effect of failure to deny. And they've admitted them all. And they admitted fraud. And since they admitted fraud, all of their rulings are nullities. Fraud cancels everything. And there's no statute of limitation on fraud. All of their rulings are nullities, and Glendora wins. It's done. It's over. It's consummated. It's compassed. It's completed. It's achieved. It's accomplished. They committed fraud. All of their rulings are nullities. Hallelujah, says Glendora. Glendora wins on the most important issue of all. Regarde, s'il vous plaît, page 3A of Glendora's motion of Halloween, All Saints' Eve. Which says, this is lawful notification and is sent pursuant to the federal Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights, in particular the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th, and 10th Amendments, and pursuant to your oath, and requires your written response to me specific to the subject matter. Your failure to respond is stipulated and rebut with particularity everything in this paper with which you disagree. Is your lawful, legal, and binding agreement with and admission to the fact that everything in this paper is true, correct, legal, lawful, and fully binding upon you in any court in America without your protest or objection or that of those who represent you. Your silence is your acquiescence. See Connolly versus General Construction Company. Notification of legal responsibility is the first essential of due process of law. Silence can only be equated with fraud, where there is a legal or moral duty to speak, or which an inquiry unanswered would be intentionally misleading. Whoopee! So we're not going to spend 5 hours a day writing legal papers anymore. It's over, it's done, it's won. And since everything in this motion of 106 pages is true, correct, legal, lawful, and fully binding upon you in any court in America without your protest or objection or that of those who represent you, you have admitted fraud. Fraud nullifies all of your rulings, and all rulings are null and void. Press is not, quote, dismissed as a defendant in this case, unquote. Take judicial notice. The fruit of the Spirit is goodness, righteousness, and truth. And it wins. It just knocks these over like bowling pins. Omega, page 43. No perspicacity, writes this law clerk. Amended complaint. By this court's order dated October the 9th, 2000, the plaintiff was given permission to submit an amended complaint within 30 days of the filing date of that order. Well, Glendora says arbitrarily and peremptorily Mordew, quote, dismissed Press as a defendant in this case, unquote. Press is the only defendant in this case. Ergo, therefore, and wherefore, there is no case left upon which to write an amended complaint. Alpha. Glendora gives this court, quote unquote, 15 days to cure its obtuse dilemma. Yesterday at church, Glendora watched a 3-year-old assemble Mr. Potato Head. He put an eye where a nose should be. This is heterotaxis. As Glendora has noted before, it is a Picasso painting. There's no case left upon which to file an amended complaint. There's only one defendant, and if you dismiss that defendant, you dismiss the case. How? Again, opacity, no capacity, and no sagacity. Since this court, quote unquote, declines to do the American duty and do this case over again and do it right, that was Glendora's motion for relief from order, it is au revoir. Well, it's better than au revoir. Au revoir is upon returning, and there's no returning in this one. It's adieu. And adieu is a contraction for to God. Goodbye is a contraction for God be with you. It will have to live with its profligacy and its complete insensibility to reproof. What do you think of that, Sebastian Cap? Glendora has won her case. Not virtually, not potentially, not hypothetically, not theoretically, but really. Actually. Page 45. Anyone who has read the record that Press made can see his grime and crime and his double cross of the USA. Glendora has reproduced the record here on paper, on TV, and on the internet. www.achatwithglendora.com, Glendora. Excuse me, www.youtube.com, a chat with Glendora, just Glendora. So when the courts fail, as this court, quote unquote, has so dismally, it is adiaphorous. It doesn't make any difference. It's neither good nor bad. It has no being anymore. The courts had their public given privilege to do right, and they chose wrong. And that takes us to Galatians 6. As ye sow, ye shall reap. Patently, they don't know right from wrong. Their parents never taught them. It must go back generations, utter laxity of morals, and the throwing off of all restraints. And we're up to beta. where this court clerk writes plaintiff's time to submit an amended complaint will expire on November 8, 2007. Well, that's something. They wrote the order November 2nd, and I didn't even receive it until like November 9th or something. In light of plaintiff's pro se status, the court will grant plaintiff an extension of time until December 10th, 2007. That's my brother's birthday, 84 years old, to submit an amended complaint, if she wishes to do so. Around and around the wheel goes. There's one defendant in the case. The screwball Mordew dismissed the defendant press as a defendant in this case. That's the only defendant in the case. Ergo, the case is dismissed. There's no amended complaint to write. Thank you for such largesse. But when you arbitrarily and unconditionally, even when you had no legal basis to do so, dismiss press as a defendant, you dismiss the case. There are no other defendants. And even when you were told that you continued the potato head syndrome, gamma gamma, failure of plaintiff to submit an amended complaint by December 10th, 2007 will result in dismissal of this action without further order of the court. What is your statutory authority? This is more dictum. This violates Americanism. In conclusion, everything this court, quote, unquote, has done is backwards, upside down, and wrong side out. Backwards, upside down, and wrong side out. But Glendora knows God, and loves God, and believes God, and God will give you a second chance, and your self-possession will be restored. Pray for these people, would you, folks? Mordew, page 7, the next to the last, and 8 is a short one. Delta, delta. In the event that plaintiff does not submit an amended complaint, plaintiff is advised that the amended complaint must comply with the local rules of practice of the Northern District of New York, including Rule 10A, which requires that all papers submitted to the court be single-sided and double-spaced. That's all they worry about. They don't worry about Rule 38, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, that jury trial shall be held inviolate. This is not the color purple, inviolate. No, they don't worry about things like that. They don't worry about the Constitution of the United States. They just worry about single-sided and double-spaced. Well, every paper should be double-sided. A court of all places should know that everything has two sides. Who scratch your ears? Yeah, your ears. You like to have your ears scratched. This is Sebastian, who sits over here, hoping that for just a minute that somebody will scratch his ears. Rule 10 also states that documents that do not comply with requirement may be rejected upon order of the court. Trivia, trivia, trivia. Get to the monumental. What's going on here? The betrayal of America, that's what's going on here. Glendora says moot, because I'm not going to file an amended complaint, because there's no complaint left. Press was the only defendant, press was dismissed, and so the lawsuit's dismissed. Trivial. Rule 26 to 37 is sort of monumental. You left out the fact that you denied due process of law, that you violated your oath of office, that you are a candidate to lose your job on the bench and to lose your pension pursuant to the 14th Amendment. And you're worrying about double-sided. You're double-sided, all right. And you're not worried about violating the jury trial mandate. You got it backwards, you got it upside down, you got it wrong side out. Epsilon, epsilon. Wherefore, after reviewing plaintiff's submissions and the applicable law, and for the reasons stated herein, it is hereby, Glendora goes A, superficially and superciliously, B, with eyes, ears, mind, soul blocked, C, insufficiently, Zeta, judge violates the United States Code, and he's worrying about writing on two sides of the page. Order that plaintiff's objections to Magistrate Judge Treese's order dated October the 10th, 2007 are denied, though this squarely and fairly puts him into fine and jail. And the order dated October 10th, 2007 is affirmed. And it is further. B, Glendora says, magistrate violates the U.S. Code. U.S. District Judge aids and abets before the fact and after the fact. C, sedition. D, treason. E, Article 3, the U.S. Constitution, good behavior. You're not a U.S. District Judge for life. You're only a U.S. District Judge by Article 3 for good behavior. Ada, ordered that plaintiff's request for a refund of the filing fee for this action is denied. B, Small Claims Court, Municipality of Syracuse. C, there is a precedent. D, court is wrong and supercilious to ignore the same. The precedent is the District Court of the United States in Iowa returned a $250 filing fee. Theta, ordered that plaintiff's motion for reconsideration of the order dated October 9, 2007 is denied. A, error. Glendora did not move for a motion for reconsideration. Glendora did not make a motion for reconsideration. B, Glendora made a motion for relief from order. C, ergo motion is still pending. D, Glendora could also make a Rule 60B motion for relief from this order. And it is further ordered that if plaintiff fails to file an amended complaint on or before December 10, 2007, the clerk is directed to enter judgment dismissing this action without further order of the court. A, what is your statutory authority? B, fugitivism. C, dereliction. D, sad state of affairs. We're on page 50 and it's 20 minutes to 12. And here comes Mr. Claus to serve this paper that I'm reading you on the people that I showed you the envelopes for. And they are on their way in the exclusive care of the United States Postal Service. And it is 11:45. Did you want to come over and see the people? I don't think so. I wish you would because you're so pretty. Can you come over and see the people? Just for a little bit. No, not for a lot, just for a little bit. And smile at them and purr for them. Can you do that? Don't want to? Shy cat, huh? Yes, you cute kitty. Alright, I'll scratch your ears. Okay, where are we, folks? We're just finishing volume 2 out of 3. Lambda. Ordered. It is further ordered that in view of this court's findings on the insufficiency and/or deficiency of the complaint herein, plaintiff is directed not to file any other motion. Is that a censorship or isn't it? Until an amended complaint is submitted to the court and approved for filing, and it is further, well, this is not a motion. This is a notice. It's a notice of appeal with 2 attachments. So we get around that. A, what is your statutory authority? B, violation of First Amendment, right to petition government for redress of wrong. Violation of First Amendment, free speech, and of public's right to know. You're the public, you have a right to know all this. Violation of oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. Violation of rights under Article 3 court. Glendora filed this case in an Article 3 court in the District Court of the United States. Excuse me, that was Volume 1 we just finished. This is Volume 2 out of 3. Page 51. This is not an Article 1 nor an Article 4 court. This is mere dictum. Glendora reserves, and all rights are reserved, and Glendora's findings and charges are admitted, effect of failure to deny. M, the court overlooks Glendora can file a notice of appeal. Yeah, he should have said that the only paper that could come in would be a notice of appeal. He should have said that, but they're not too bright. The court overlooks Glendora's can file a notice of appeal. This right is forgotten along with a multitude of other rights. October 9th, October 10th, and November 2nd are all appealable orders. Hence, Glendora is filing a notice of appeal, probably, but definitely a notice of admissions to her findings and charges of Halloween, All Saints' Eve. And Glendora reserves again. We go up to page 52. More dues, last page, page 8, 52 is a short page, and it is ordered that upon full compliance by plaintiff with the order as directed above, the file in this matter be returned to the court for further review. What's that about? I guess he's talking about the 80-page attachment about press. That's sort of moot. And it is further, when Glendora says to this, what? Glendora does not understand what this means. Return, quote unquote. Where has the file been other than in this court, quote unquote? And if I do not understand, it's an automatic win on appeal. You know, when you go to court, say, I don't understand. That's an automatic win on appeal. They have to remand it. New. Ordered that the clerk serve a copy of this decision in order on plaintiff in accordance with the local rules, which they don't provide. And prima facie, is this court in the habit of not sending plaintiffs decisions and orders? It is, and it is so ordered. Well, that's tautological. He says ordered, and then down at the bottom he says it is so ordered. That is tautological. I think we got the idea. Dated November the 2nd, 2007. That was 3 days before election. But then federal judges are not elected. They're appointed by very bad presidents, and they're approved by very bad senators on the Senate Judiciary Committee. There is his signature. Norman A. Mordew, United States District Judge. Chief United States District Court Judge. Okay. Hello, Sebastian. Okay, this is 11:15. We rejoice at the sunshine. 11:30A. We rejoice that somebody is standing up to this crookedness. We rejoice that Mr. Claus is serving the papers as of this moment. 12:45 on November 17th, 2007, Anno Domini. And we rejoice that we're going into attachment 2 pretty soon, in 10 pages. When we